live. Let's go ahead and pull up that YouTube page. Good morning, HermitCraft 9. It's me, Joe Hills. Muting site. Muting site. Muting site. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Okay. I think we're live. Oh, the camera's screwed up. Let's fix the camera. Yay! We're still in musical camera mode. It's Friday morning. It's a wake-up stream. Good morning, HermitCraft. Yeah, don't get anviled. Nope, no anvils up there. Welcome, Paradex, Micah Weber, Grayski, Jasper, Wyvern's Flight. Whew. It's Friday. We have almost made it through the work week. I mean, I'm still doing streams tomorrow night, and Saturday night is tomorrow night. Sunday night. I'm still waking up today. Yay. Woo. Bum, 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 bum. Morning, Kindless in the Discord. Morning, Justish in the YouTube. We've got some pork chops to chew. Ooh, woo. Okay. Woo, XP. Howdy, XP. I feel bad. XP and I were supposed to play a game together, and I got distracted because the cards came in, and it was a whole thing with the markers and paint exploding everywhere, and so we haven't had our game yet. We have not rescheduled it yet because I'm waiting to hear back from him. But yeah, I need to be extra nice to XB because I screwed that up, getting caught up in all the chaos of the TCG shipping. Like, y'all, sending out those cards. Oh, I feel so good about that. I feel so excited about getting those on their way to Creo, which means they're on their way out to you once all the hermits have rolled in. A lot of the hermits have been reporting in that they have already sent their cards and back to Creo. Although Pearl probably won't get hers for another few days because of shipping to Australia taking way longer. But yeah, this is like one of the last steps was us signing these and mailing these back, and then they're going to be put in randomizers, and the cards will be shuffled into decks, and everything's going to go out, and I'm just so excited. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying it's going to happen in a little while, but like it's exciting feeling the movement on it. Mahi says, "Yay, Australian shipping." Yeah, I know, right? Morning, NJ and avocado magenta. Woo. Okay, so here is what we are doing today. Oh, whoops. I guess that little Pluto I had doesn't fit since I moved the image around. I had placed that little Pluto image directly over the Pluto spinner there. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Oh, well. We tried. I feel like that... No, that can't be right. We definitely wouldn't have had that like that. So what we probably actually wanted was... We probably just want to move the Pluto image. Yeah, that's easier. We'll just do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if putting the stamps upside down makes shipping to Australia faster or not. It's a mystery to me. Okay. Bum 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 bum. Okay, let's grab some pork chops here. Okay. So we've got our electromagnetic spectrum, infrared, visible, UV, X-ray, and gamma. At least a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Oh, yeah, actually a lot of the other hermits also had to make marker purchases. Jevin bought 6. Cub bought 6, but only one of them worked. Grian bought a whole bunch, and none of them worked, so he switched to a different brand, even. Like, a bunch of the hermits have had non-stop marker problems. But, you know, it's good that we're shaking these problems out when we have 400 cards to sign. My next batch of cards to sign is going to be smaller, but for some of the hermits, it might be more than 10 times as large. So better to get this marker thing sorted now before the collector's cards get shipped. Okay. So as we're looking at this, if you weren't here yesterday, let me fill you in on what we've changed or added. We've added a kinetic sling spinning disc right here, like the Doctor Strange shot on Avengers Infinity Quest Pro, or there's a kinetic sling disc on Safecracker on the left side. There's something similar. The lamp in Tales of the Arabian Nights is a kinetic sling disc with 2 posts on it, and another one with 2. Another example, I think it only has 1 post, is on Bond's 60th, the Derby hat. So so we've got Morning Queen Dark Lady. So the final art, I think that this, because I was talking about trying to find ways to have this represent something that isn't a space telescope. And so it was like, it either needs to be something that's observed, like a galaxy, or somebody suggested a planet like Pluto, or it should be a different step of the process, like a space launch, or like a laptop bash toy that processes the data for the data processing multi-ball or something. But I think that having this as a kinetic sling spinning disc will work very well. I'm really excited about this layout choice. Now, the idea is you can't even get to that kinetic sling spinning disc until you hit these 3 targets here. You know what? I'm worried, though. I'm actually, now that I'm looking at this, if the disc is too close to here, if the disc is too close to the edge, does that, does that mean the ball could end up cradled? Like, obviously the disc is supposed to not hold the ball, but if it lands at a very slow speed, gravity alone might not be enough to move it. But I guess kind of the question is, how likely is it to pop into here? Yeah, the disc just needs to, I think, have a lot of give to it, but because if we move the disc out much further, I don't think it will. Part of the reason we have the disc so far that way is so it aligns with this shot here. If we move it over some, then the entirety of the, well, you could still hit it from that upper flipper. You could still hit it from the upper flipper if it was moved over. And the upper flipper will also cover this outlane sometimes, so it's kind of like a ball save in some ways. Andre Paredo says, "Hi, I'm very happy seeing how the layout of the pinball machine is appearing there." Well, thank you, Andre. Okay, let's go lay our heads down and dream. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. NJ writes, aren't you streaming this morning? Yes. Hi, NJ. I think I said hi already, but just in case you didn't have the stream open yet. I looked over at the laptop. I've got the other project management thing open on the laptop right now. Because I was up till 1:30 doing budget projections. We're at the point where I'm going to have to start running this like a real business, which I have been dreading. But losing the outside revenue of my freelance development work, I'm having to actually really sit down and look at the numbers. So we'll be talking about that at the August 19th quarterly meeting for the Discord community or Patreon community. And then minutes of that meeting as well as a VOD will be available later in the newsletter. Okay, so if we move this whole thing over... Actually, that fixes the other one of the other concerns I had. I didn't like these two having an uninterrupted line of sight with each other. I was trying to figure out what to do about that. Hey, welcome, Evan Netta. Thank you. That comes out to 8 U.S. Abacus beads. And Evan writes, hello, hello. I am sick today, so a perfect day, or perfect time to watch some Joe Hills. Well, thank you very much for supporting the arts and my work in particular. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Bum, 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 bum. But yeah, I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, still a lot to do. It's the end of the school week. First week at school here in Nashville. So we've almost made it through. Yeah, I feel like in some ways having this closer to the edge makes it less likely to get stuck because in some positions it would just bounce off. That might be... But let me pull up the Safecracker playfield and look at where they've got theirs. And let me pull up the Avengers Infinity Quest playfield. Oh, wait, I've got that one in here. Avengers Infinity Quest playfield. Yeah, so this thing is completely unconstrained. Nothing near it that could get the ball stuck. So, what do I have that's making this chiming noise? Something is making a chiming noise. And I don't know what it is. Okay. It's like making like a little... Okay. So, let's pull up the Safecracker... Playfield Layout. And... they have theirs kind of near a wall. Let me see if I can find it in a decent image. Yeah, they have theirs kind of near a wall. And it looks like it's okay. The big problem is the sling disc isn't motorized. So if the ball does get stuck, I don't think you can have the ball search reset it. There is a way. They had like a counterweight or something on the bond one, such that the sling itself, or not the sling, the peg would always rest in a particular position, or certain particular positions. And so maybe that's kind of what we need to look at, is making sure the peg doesn't rest in a position where, whoops, we needed that. That was a screw. Morning and good night, SSC Grub. Glad you could join us briefly. We do still have the problem of I don't love having these two things directly lined up with each other. The two locks being lined up with each other like that is strange. Streaming but not busy. Okay. We need to switch to recording mode. Okay. HermitCraft Season 9, Episode 69 Actual Segment, Bravo, Take 1. Our pal XP Crafted has asked if I am busy and he wants to meet at Or Spy. Let's, In our last episode, we played a lot of XP Crafted's game Or Spy. And according to some folks in the comments, there was actually some points that I counted that I shouldn't have. And it looks like XB might have noticed that too before I could go correct it. So we're going to apparently go meet XB over at Or Spy and see, hopefully we're not in trouble. Hey XB, it's me, it's Joe, I'm landing at Or Spy. Or are you below? You're below.
I'm below.
Coming down.
Hello.
Hello. Should I go inside or wait out here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey.
So I was just looking at your video of playing the game.
Yeah.
So a couple things. I'm gonna give you insider secrets. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, I've given you a lot of diamonds. Yeah.
One, the arrow doesn't count.
The arrow does not count?
Does not count.
Okay, because I saw in the comments that I had used the wrong lapis on some of... So right. I was going to have to go back and adjust my score anyway. I was willing to concede...
That was a massive oversight.
Oh.
And so any games where you played where you counted the arrow, you get a full refund.
Oh.
And those scores, unfortunately, do not count.
Well, thank you for the refund.
Right.
When I stumbled onto that, I was like, oh my gosh, XP's a game design genius. I thought that was brilliant. So
no, that would have been brilliant, but it was just an oversight.
Okay.
Another secret is, I don't know if I want to say because I want people to waste.
Am I supposed to enter pearl to a different path or something?
No. I want people to waste their time looking out this way. But that is a waste of time.
Okay.
So anywhere you see that it's lush, that's where you should be paying attention.
Okay.
And that's all I'm gonna say. The orders could be anywhere where it's lush.
Anywhere it's lush. That is
so
very helpful.
I saw you looking like way down there, and there's nothing there. There's nothing way down there. So if it's lush, that's where you want to concentrate. Now, anywhere within that, it could be higher, could be middle, could be low. in the lush, but it has to be in the lush.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, that's very good to know. Okay.
Since like the rules, like, you know, it's this was kind of a spur of the moment game that was thrown together pretty quickly. And so I will give you a free play.
Ah.
And so now that you know, I'm gonna adjust the book. I already added the ores in the arrow don't count, but I'm gonna add that, you know, it's got to be in the lush, because when Beef played, he knew that.
Okay.
Like, he didn't know where the ores were. I put the ores. And so he played not knowing where the ores were, but he knew the basic rules. And so you are welcome, if you want, to go ahead and take all your diamond blocks back. And, well, at least the ones where you counted the arrow.
Yeah, the ones where I counted the arrow, I'll take back. Yeah, the first two I'll definitely leave, because, yeah, I
and then I will give you a free play. I will put the diamond block in for you. Just, you know, to make it fair on everybody.
Ah, thank you.
And so there's that one. So you get a free play, and then like I said, I'll adjust the book to say only in the lush areas.
Sounds good.
So.
Well, thank you so much for clarifying. But yeah,
sorry about that. Like I said, it was like, you know, it was a last minute thing, and mistakes happen. So I just wanted to try and correct the mistakes that I saw.
Well, no, thank you for the refund, and I'm really curious now. I've got to get back in there and figure out where the rest of these ores are, because I still didn't even get close. I mean, I was closer to the title, or not title, the highest possible score, 178. I got up to 160, but that meant there was still a lot I was missing. But like, if my actual best score is like 29, then I'm missing at least one arrow's worth of blocks somewhere in there.
I will tell you that some of them are just downright diabolical.
I'm sure they must be, because like
it's kind of one of those, if you're not at the perfect kind of spot, you will never see it.
Okay. Well, I've done a lot from right against the railing, so maybe I'm gonna play with my depth a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna.
Well, that, and you gotta play with angles. Angles are big.
Yep. Because I had been mostly looking like head on with occasional sweeps to left or right, but maybe you know, full.
Yeah, there's
sweeps.
some where you can only see from specific angles in a specific spot.
Okay.
So. And I did, every time I placed an ore, I came back and I would look and make sure that I could see it from somewhere. And so everything is visible from one point or another.
Ah, fantastic.
So.
Well, I'm really excited to give this another go. Yeah, thanks, XB.
Hopefully you're excited to play again now that you know, all the rules, I guess.
Phantoms want to play too.
They do. It's a fun game.
Yeah, no, you did great.
I don't even remember where all the ores are, so that's fun.
Oh, nice. Cool. Well, thanks so much, XB.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm probably going to cut my clip there. I am still streaming, just so you know. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because like I had like a whole notebook and pen and paper setup that I don't have set up right now to do another run. I'm probably going to go back to working on the pinball machine for now, but I'll come back and record this later.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Thanks so much, man.
All right. Later.
Catch you later. Oh, and yeah, sorry again about the TCG game.
Oh no, man! The stuff happened. Like, things have been happening, and people getting busy, and it's like, no, I'm not sweating it at all.
Yeah, one of those paint markers exploded, so I'm like running around doing laundry, and like it's like a nightmare.
Yeah, don't worry, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I am not a stressed out dude. Like, I don't sweat the small stuff.
I just don't want to disrespect you, or your time. So.
No, I didn't take it as that at all.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you so much again for understanding. Catch you later, everybody.
Later.
Okay, we're gonna stop the recording there. Woo! Okay. La da 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 da. Man, I cannot believe that the arrow wasn't a. I thought the arrow was a brilliant twist. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna go back and play some more of that. Lisa Lou says, last time I caught a live thing, he was building a galaxy. Yeah. Yeah, the galaxies are visible on the side of the pinball machine if I fly around here real quick. We've got, you can see some of the galaxies painted on the side there, but looks a little bit more impressive from the distance. Oops, I got distracted reading the chat and fell in the water. Let's go use the bed before the phantoms attack us again. Whew. We're getting stuff done this morning. Just being on the server first thing in the morning is always a good idea. Okay. But yeah, let's come back and look at this for a second. So, one thing I considered was having like, maybe just something as simple as a single stand-up target here. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That doesn't feel steep enough. The ball could get stuck there. Okay, so let's say we have a post here, and then we're coming down. This will kind of keep the ball toward the pops, which is generally desirable. Okay, let's think this through. So then, let's say we add some sort of target. Mounted like here. 1, 2. Oops, like more like 1, 2, 3. And now we're out of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so no, that screws up the eject angle. We can't have that be that high and have the eject angle we want. I'm realizing a lot of things as I'm working on this. There's a lot going on in my head right now, and I'm not necessarily verbalizing it very well. But getting all of the angles right so the shots work and the components of the machine are in harmony. It's like a whole thing. Oh, my wings are about to break. Yeah. We should fix that. You're right. Okay. So if we have this back at a 2 by 2, if we do have like a 2 angle here, is that wide enough for the ball to even? It doesn't feel right. Okay. Whoops. So the problem is we need it steep on this side. And shallow on the other. So it might be one of those things, but no worries, Canna Geek. Yeah, I just want to finish this one problem because we don't need our wings right now while we're here. Okay. So if we have a post here, that is not going to block the shot. Okay, so then, like, I mean, maybe it's just as simple as we go. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe we just make this a 45. Okay. So, yeah, then we have some sort of target on, or targets on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these would have to be very narrow targets. Is who FK beef? I'm just looking at this and thinking. So I'm not one of those people who builds everything in creative mode and then whatever. I usually build stuff in. So if we did narrow stand-up targets here. Okay, yeah. What would, okay, so 4 times 1.4, these would end up being about an inch wide. Bum, bada, bada, bum, bum. Okay. No, I know my wings need to be fixed, but we're not doing anything that requires flying right now, and I don't want to interrupt my... I'm kind of in process on the layout at the moment. I'm trying to solve a very specific problem for which I don't need an elytra. And so I'll come back to the elytra thing when it becomes an issue. Okay, so this might actually need to extend out to here. Does that then impede the flow of the ball? It does. Okay. Okay, maybe that actually just needs to go like this, and then... Yeah, that kind of looks right. I actually need to go take out these 2 blocks here. Okay, that looks way better. Okay. So from down here. Now, let me look at this. Yeah, this is placeholder stuff, but thank you, Incurious. I'm glad that you agree. I'm also very pleased with how it looks. Like, just getting it, like, because we've spent so long getting so many pieces of this right and learning about it and stuff like that. Howdy, Ran. Like, we've done a lot of foundational work here. And so now, pulling off the rest of it is a lot easier. Let's go, since we gotta turn night into day anyway. Let's go into the Nether and do our elytra fix. Welcome, Pod Parasha. Okay. Yeah. This is gonna be alright. This is gonna be alright. You know what I haven't done yet? I forgot to put up the setting up stream sign. And I take down the setting up stream sign the first time I post the tipping link. And oh wait, no, I have posted the tipping link before. I thought I'd forgot. Okay, I forgot that I put it up, so then I thought I forgot. Okay. I'm still waking up. Early morning. Okay. Okay, that's all of our gear fixed. Nice and easy. Okay, so at this point then, let's fly up here and look at this from above. I know the map has a similar effect, but this is not... The map is from directly overhead, whereas this is from like closer to where a human would be looking at a pinball machine. Like a human of my height. My head would be about here-ish, maybe a little forward. But, okay, so looking down there. Getting the eject to go clear through there means we can't really block that. This might be something, though, where we actually go narrower here. And maybe bring this down to one target. So then we would have like a lock arrow that comes out here. Yeah, we need to clean up these arrows as well, just in general. But we need a lock arrow, additionally pointing at that. So these are 2 locks, are these 2 saucers, there and there. We'll have the kinetic sling disc here. I feel like it's too close to the wall. I feel like it needs to be... If we want the center of the ball to hit it, if it's completely lined up here, the peg needs to be about 3 away from the wall instead of 2. Yeah. So I think we pull this whole thing sideways and we shorten that. Everything over here I'm generally pretty happy with. We might need to angle that diverter gate a little bit more. Let's try and get a prototype lock arrow in, though. Let's figure out what a prototype lock arrow would look like. Oh, oh, the camera's messed up because I was doing the XB thing. Okay, sorry y'all. Not Playfield art. I need... Okay. So in terms of making these arrows work here. Okay, so that's about 4 blocks. And then it goes over 1 block after... How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lord Piecrust, thank you for our second tip of the stream. Who says, hello, Joe. How goes on this Friday? Got you on while I paint my 40k army. Awesome. I hope you enjoy your painting session, and good luck in your future Warhammer endeavors. Mr. Lance writes, rise and shine. It's Joe Hills' time. It is. Thank you. Yes, like a phoenix, I rise from the ashes. Okay. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this arrow would be 9 tall. And okay. So yeah, let's figure out how to do the lock arrows, because that's also going to be an important part of this. So down we go. We got our little storage area here, so I'm going to clear up some inventory space temporarily. Don't worry, we'll get all this nonsense back shortly. But for right now, we're going to free up enough space that we can bring in these. Okay. That was the upper playfield one. Why do I have a fire resistance? Welcome, Mini Tasmanian, or Mini Tasmanian. Just so you know, we appreciate it when people don't yell in all caps. Please take a minute to read the rules. Okay, so this is 3. So this is basically 9 tall. And if I had that like there, it would go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if we kept the point in the same point, it would go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it would be going over 2 and then 2. And then how would I say that goes? Seems like it goes kind of like this. Welcome, Buttercup. Glad you could join us. No worries, Mini Tasmanian. Glad to have you here today. Okay, so 1, diagonally 2. 1. Okay, so the problem is this is not an even slope here. That looks closer than I was expecting, though. Hold on. That actually doesn't look bad. This block might have to go. Actually, maybe it should be more like that. What if we add one here? Dun, 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 dun. How does that turn out? Oh, that actually looks kind of better. And then maybe we add one more here. I might just be making it worse at this point, but... Morning, Space Demon. It's not quite a 45. Where's the ruler tool so I can... Okay, so if I did do this angle, what is this angle actually? Where's the output of that? Is it in properties? Okay, I've got the measure tool, and Is it not show up on the overlay anymore? I feel like when I'm using the measure tool, it should be giving me the feedback somewhere on the screen of the angle I'm measuring. Adobe updates Illustrator every year now. And so... I need to go to the info panel. Okay, that's it. It's in the info panel. Window, info. Oh, the info panel was on the other monitor. I was like, why can I not find this anywhere? Okay. It's on the other monitor. Floating around. Okay, so this is actually... So this is a 60-degree angle. Dun, 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 dun. Multi-time basis, losing things on the other monitor sounds like a job for caffeine. Yeah, I actually ran out of time to make coffee this morning because I was... I spent like 3 hours last night doing budget projections for the next 6 months. Or 5 months, I guess, technically through the end of the year. And I was like, I need to check my numbers. And I started checking my numbers, and I was like, oh no. One of the things I skipped a step on with parsing the PayPal data. So it's artificially higher in the budget than it should be. So I'm going to have to fix that. And then I was like, oh no, the stream's supposed to start now, so I don't have time to fix that. It's always something. So, yeah. So I just poured myself a glass of soda. It would take too long to make coffee during the stream itself, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. So I think we might want to round this out a little bit here. And that's going to look a lot better too. Okay. I'm curious, has having an artificially high income in the budget is the worst. Yeah, yeah. So basically, the way PayPal gives you your CSVs, which is a comma separated value list of like all your transactions. There's a lot of stuff that ends up being listed twice, like currency conversions show up twice. And then like there's also stuff where it's like, oh hey, I got this revenue in PayPal, but that's like something that I already accounted for somewhere else. Like if I did some freelance work for somebody and they pay me through PayPal, that doesn't necessarily count as my PayPal tip column, but you know, just it's a lot of data processing to deal with PayPal, and like in the long term, having a completely separate PayPal for tips than for other stuff would make that easier, but I'm not there yet. So okay. Okay. So what this would do, I don't know. Soda. SODA, soda. Small Time Benny says, gotta respect that grind and French press timing. Yeah, that's the thing, is I make my coffee, I grind it and French press it and everything, and it's all whole thing. Mini Tasmanian, the tab button is not bound in my Minecraft. So it wouldn't do anything if I press tab. Okay. So I need to get better about exact and precise saucer spacing. This might need to move down. We're not going to worry about that right now. We are going to move this over, though. Because thinking about it, the center of the ball is going to be probably one more block away. And the peg will probably be actually all the way on the outside. Lord Pycross says, these mini fleur-de-lis are so hard to paint, lol. Mike Deadman writes, every streamer should unbind the tab button. Okay. Mini Tasmanian says, do you know that erasers die slowly because of their owner's mistakes? I don't think so. I think they die slowly because of their owner's intentions. I think we attribute too many things to chance. It's not healthy. I understand the urge, but I don't think it's good. We need to address that as a society. Okay. So we're moving the entire thing over one here. So that's gonna get moved to there. Pum 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 ba da 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 dun 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 dun. Dee 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 da da dun. Hold on. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's the beginning of that 3. So that actually needs to go there. Okay. So cool. So yeah, this feels better, having that further out. I feel like so the reject path. Let's hide the Illustrator thing for right now. The reject path from the lower saucer. I was originally thinking I would have it go just straight that way and then fall down onto the lower flipper. And that feels kind of right. That feels, or upper flipper, that feels right to me. Boom, 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 hey, morning, hard luck. Sorry about your allergies. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So we've got the clean plunge across to here, which gets the ball up into the pops. You can technically bobble the ball into the pops straight up here with a backhand from there, or trying to forehand it this way, but like you're risking the drain. Eckler says, I just updated my Patreon pledge, and the email Patreon sent has Joe's profile pic super squished. Very well-made website they have. Well, thank you for increasing your pledge amount, Ecklogs. I do appreciate it. Every little bit counts. Yeah. Like I said, I'll be talking more about the budget at the August 19th meeting. But, yeah. I'm definitely going to have to make some changes. And I'm figuring out what changes make sense based on what the final numbers look like. So I'm having a call with NJ about that today at 1. In order to go over what I've got in the preliminary numbers and then make sure everything is shored up before I talk to everybody on the 19th. Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Ecklogs. Like now that I've got fairly specific numbers, although like I said, I need to review them. I keep wanting to say them, like, which is one of the reasons I put off doing it, because I knew that if I had the numbers, like I'm not the sort of person who likes keeping stuff quiet. I like talking about things. And I'm just like, but basically, you know, I've been kind of saying offhand, like, it feels like I'm down about $3,000 a month in revenue, and that's not too far from the actual numbers. But since I ran the numbers last night, and I was very tired, and I found at least one mistake already this morning, I'm gonna gonna go through and do another pass before doing anything final. NJ says, wait, 1 p.m. your time? I'm at 1 p.m. my time. Well, the Google Calendar invite should have said 1 p.m. Central. And I said 1 p.m. Central in my message, didn't I? Mini Tasmanian says, Joe, do you have the problem as a builder where you have no inspiration to build so your mind is blank and you don't build for days? No. I always have more ideas than I have time to execute or energy. Yeah, Google should convert your calendar to Eastern time. So I sent you an invite for 1 p.m. Central, and it should have showed up on yours as 2 p.m. Eastern. Did it not? In the email? Like with the Google Calendar invite? Because we'll want to... If that doesn't work, we'll want to know that so this doesn't happen again. Yeah. But yeah, every little bit helps. Thank you, Eclogs, is my point. ZB says, isn't Eastern earlier than Central? I don't think so. I mean, maybe it's Eastern Europe or Central Europe. Might be earlier or later. I don't know. Like, the sun rises earlier in the East, but that makes the time 1 hour taller? I guess, if that makes any sense. NJ says, I'm not near my rig and don't have our shared calendar on the laptop. Ah, gotcha. ZB says Eastern time is 1 hour earlier than Central Standard Time. See, I don't think that's correct. I think it's 1 hour later because it's 1 hour higher. Things like sun rises earlier there, but the times are taller earlier. They grow ahead earlier, so they look like they're later. I don't think using the words earlier or later is helpful in this context. I think it's just going to confuse people more. Mr. Lance says I never knew time was height based. Well, you got to keep in mind we used to use like water drops or sand, and the piles of sand or the quantities of water get taller as it goes from the top half into the bottom half. Can I tell XP you said hi? No, never. Okay. Nola says pinball machine's looking good. Thanks, Nola. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm making some good choices here. Eclog says, as somebody who's 6'5", I can confirm it's always earlier for me than for short people. Yay. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Quill says the further east you go, the later in the day it is. Exactly. Yeah, that's why later and earlier are hard to use to describe this. Okay, so looking at this here, this definitely feels like it needs to move down. Part of me wants to put a one-directional gate here, but that probably isn't a good idea. I'm starting to see why they use scoops in modern machines. I didn't expect that, but I'm realizing if you got enough speed coming up here, you might bounce over the saucer there, which is its own whole thing. So we definitely actually need something like a protector covering that to stop the ball from popping up and out. Okay. I kind of feel like this has gotten too wide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6 is the actual width of the ball. 7, 8, 9. Maybe that's okay. You want to have some wiggle room there. You're going to be plunging into this thing every time, though. Okay, so let's look at this part here. So we have that. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. It is kind of busy near these pops. Maybe we bring that around and move. Oh, if we move that, that actually changes everything here. Hey, welcome Badger Spanner. Welcome Rokan. Glad you both could join us. We are just quickly giving this a quick ponder. Looks like the sun's about to set, but let's go ahead and maybe do some of the arrow work that we had talked about for the other arrows. Graysky says, this is off topic, but the bakery I work at unexpectedly got over 100 pounds of various types of chocolate. Does anyone know any particularly interesting chocolate desserts, Joe or chat? Welcome back. I don't know what... So I'm not a baker, so I don't know what makes a dessert interesting to a baker. But presumably there's stuff where you're like, oh, I've always wanted to try to make one of these, or, but, like, I don't want to risk wasting the material. But if you got, like, you know, an extra shipment from your supplier who, like, hey, we had an overrun, here's some extra, you could push yourself, to try some of that stuff that you might not normally. You know? I don't know. Like, what is it you want to make, but you don't normally get the chance to make, right? Would be my, my thought. Okay, so... Okay. So if we steal what we did on that one, which I'm not 100% happy with, but it worked okay. That's 4, and then 4. Should probably actually come that way, maybe even. How does that look? Well, that actually came out way better. Maybe one more. It's a little... Okay. But the core concept was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grace tells Zach that chocolate zucchini bread's definitely going on the list. Very cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we come down this way at like a 45, basically. And then we're going to come up like that, maybe. Yeah, that's not bad. Best sound design in the game. Okay, I mean, the arrow needs to be over some, but the core concept is there. Whew. Hey, we got a tip rolling in. Let's see who it is from. Thank you very much to R, who tips 30 and says, "Hey Joe, I'm just recovering from COVID this week. You sound like a man in need of more than one mug. You sound like a man in need of more than just one mug of coffee. The pinball machine's really coming into its own on the server. All the best, R." Thank you. Thank you so much, R, for the kind words and the kind support. Every bit helps. That's going to get us 2 face camera expansion milestones. So here we go. Clicking on me. Howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee. And then expand Joe. Do-do-do-do. So there we go. There's 2 face camera expansion milestones. And we are now 14 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Sounds like Ren's neighbor stopped mowing the lawn finally, so Ren can goof off now. Okay, so for this arrow, let's this one's maybe more of a, okay, that's a 36-degree angle, and this is a 67-degree angle. Then this one is, oh wait, no, hold on, I'm looking at the wrong label. Okay, -63, -40, okay. Thingamabob says, Joe, have you stopped streaming on Twitch? Well, they told me that they don't want people simulcasting there anymore. So, I haven't figured out a new plan. I tried doing separate streams from multiple computers, but it was a lot of energy. So it's not great. Okay, so with this blue one though. Okay, so this is -55 and 32. Okay. So for this one, we need to move the we need to move that like up there significantly. And then possibly over one here. Okay. Well, NJ, so do you want to move the call to noon central then? Nola says, I hate lawnmowers. One time I wasted $200 because I signed up for an online American Sign Language intensive course that was in Pacific time, and I forgot to convert. I had to be at work the entire time, every time each session was taking place. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me... Luckily, I don't think I have anything scheduled at noon. Let me double check that real quick. Why am I not seeing it? Did I send it... I might have sent it to you from the wrong calendar. Hold on. That's another weird... No? I could have sworn I put it on my calendar. Did it go away because you declined it or something? I was going to adjust the meeting, but now I can't find the meeting. Yay! Correspondence streams. Oh, no. I have it on my home calendar instead of my work calendar. Okay, that's yeah, okay, that's why. Sorry. Yeah, I can fix it now, right? Now that I know where it is. Okay. Yeah, sorry, NJ, because I sent that from my phone. It defaulted to my home calendar. So, okay. Okay. So let's sort this. But yeah, I don't have a policy against streaming on Twitch. And I'll probably start streaming on Twitch as soon as they change their policy against me streaming there, if that makes any sense. I don't understand why they don't want me streaming there. It's weird. Like, I feel like I've done a good job of trying to, like, be a good streamer. And it's kind of... It kind of hurts my feelings that they don't want to even talk to me about giving me permission. No, I didn't put it on the stream calendar by accident, fortunately. Because, yeah, it's not a streamed call. We're going to be going over some rough numbers to make sure they're accurate before they're public at the August 19th meeting. Nola says maybe they don't want anyone streaming and it's not just you. What if Twitch is tired of being a stream platform and is just too scared to admit it because sunk cost fallacy is too strong? I honestly, like, with the way that Elon Musk is trying to drive people off Twitter and all of this stuff, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Amazon wasn't, like, just done with Twitch. Like, they've basically, like, they've decided that they want it to be an advertising serving platform and not a streaming platform. And they consider, you know, the most important part of what they're doing working with advertisers and not working with streamers. And I just don't have the energy. Like, I just don't have the energy. It's, you know, if they want to, like, here's the thing, is if somebody says, like, I don't want to play with you, I want to play with somebody else, I'm not going to be a jerk about it. I'm just going to go elsewhere, right? You know? So, like, I get it. They've decided that what their business isn't about people like me. And I'm not, that's fine. It's their business. They have every right to make that decision. And I'm going to just move on with my life, you know? Okay, so we start as rows of 2 here, and then if we go to rows of 4 maybe for a little bit. And then by the bottom of this thing, on this one, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide. Wow. Yurgi says, I'm getting really tired of big companies buying cool things and making them worse. Well, that's one of the reasons that I've put so much energy and time and money into getting this joehills.net/live thing going. Because that way I can stream independently of the big companies, you know? Even if that's not going to help with my discoverability or whatever in the long term, like, I can make what I want for the people I want to make it for. And I think that has a value. It's hard to tell when you're right on top of this. But no, that arrow is not good. Okay. So let's look at this logically. It seems like this actually needs to, like, come off of here at, like, a 45. Thingamabob says, meanwhile, it's great to see the progress on your build. Thank you, Thingamabob. I'm glad you like the build. I am excited about it, too. Okay, so we kind of roughed this in, and now we're cleaning it up some. Okay, so from here, we want to make a line that goes to there. We're going to exclude these block, or that block. Okay. These two maybe don't need to go in there either. This one needs to be angled out more. Mike Deadman says, do you update your Twitch page to show your streaming schedule on YouTube, changes, images, etc. to point them there? Is that also violating terms? That's the sort of thing they've actively discouraged in the past. I don't know if it's actively against their terms right now, but it's a lot of extra work. Probably the most effective thing would just be for me to do 1 stream a week on Twitch to remind people that I'm mostly not streaming on Twitch anymore, and link to my personal streaming site and my calendar. Because like streaming and telling people about the calendar at joehills.net/soon is going to be more effective than those images. People don't usually just click to random pages like that anyway, but they will show up for a stream, right? So I was actually thinking one of the changes I need to talk to NJ about today is now that I don't have the car, I can only get to about half of the things I used to do on Thursdays. And so I might start doing on the Thursdays where I would have needed my car, I will instead stream on Twitch, maybe. I've got to work out what game I would be streaming because I don't want to stream Minecraft there because I feel like they kind of don't deserve it. Not the viewers, but like the company. I kind of feel like Amazon doesn't deserve HermitCraft anymore. So I'm really mad at Amazon about this and about like 800 other things with unionization, with how they're treating the unions in the Writers Guild, and so I need to stream over there just to let people know that I've left. Basically, I need to stream over there once or twice a month. So, but I might be just playing like Quill says No Man's Sky or Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is on the short list. I hadn't considered No Man's Sky, but that would be another interesting one. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is a possibility. It might just be whatever random game I've started to... Oh, no. Mahi suggests Civilization 6 Thursdays. Yeah, the problem is if I start playing Civilization 6... Like, Civ is the only game that I can stream for 8 hours straight. I can't start streaming Civ at 8:30 on a Thursday night. We have work in the morning, right? Nola says, I've started playing Tears of the Kingdom since Baby gave it to me for my birthday, and it's been so good. Glad to hear it, Nola. Spelunky 2 was really fun, says Alex. Yeah, I really like Spelunky, but a lot of viewers did not. Mr. Lance says, bad Amazon. No HermitCraft for you until you learn your lesson. Go stand in the corner. Yeah. Quill says Splatoon. Splatoon would be a fun one. I don't get to play enough Splatoon. It might just be, yeah, it might be something where I just bounce around different games all the time. But yeah. Yeah, so I think Mike Deadman is... You're right that I do need to do more to let the people on Twitch know that I'm not streaming there actively all the time. But, yeah. Trying to figure out what that looks like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's an impersonator, so yeah. If your profile image is a famous streamer, that's not cool. Especially if you're not that famous streamer. I mean, it like if somebody shows up with like a Good Times with Scar icon, I will constantly have to fight the instinct to assume they're Scar, and I will eventually just ban them. Like my brain cannot handle that. But like, yeah, if every time I see your picture, I'm like, hey, it's that famous streamer that I've seen occasionally. No, wait, it's not. Or, hey, that's my friend. No, it's not. It breaks my brain. I can't deal with that. And especially if your username has their name in it, that's not good. That's not healthy. You need to fix that. Mike Deadman says, I did go there a few days ago to see what was up, and I didn't see anything, but yeah, since you hadn't streamed in a while, I assumed you had stopped or at least paused. Yeah, part of the problem, too, is Twitter's dying at the same time all this other stuff is happening. There's a broad cultural and technological shift occurring, and this is why the August 19th big Patreon community meeting is going to be so important, because we're going to be talking about... Basically, I'm going to have to pivot a lot of things that I kind of knew we'd have to come back to. I was like, you know, I'm not sure where this is going long term. Let's come back to it once things calm down after the pandemic. I don't think things have fully calmed down after the pandemic, but the world is changing rapidly anyway. A lot of it is in ways that I anticipated, and I'm actually surprised it took this long. Other things hit me sooner than expected, but they're all, for the most part, it's all things that I was aware of could happen and had some sort of contingency plan for. But it's kind of a perfect storm of all these things going wrong at once, so I'm kind of scrambling to figure out how to navigate it best. But yeah. Moonrosa says, Joe Hill's Variety Hours. Yeah, like, ideally, maybe the Thursday night thing would be, like, some sort of collab stream, or I don't know. I'm gonna play with it for a little bit. Yeah, this that purple arrow is definitely gonna have to move down and be angled slightly more. Honestly, maybe we don't need the purple arrow. Maybe because the lights behind the trap ball can flash to indicate that you need to shoot them. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. We had talked about adding a third light behind the trap ball too. I wasn't expecting Twitter to die quite like this, is what I'll say. Mike Dedman says, this looks so good, especially for how hard some of these shapes are to make in Minecraft. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's a challenge. But, like, I'm using, like, so I've got Adobe Illustrator here, and I'm, like, overlaying different shapes kind of on the grid and getting a rough sense of how they would look. So, you know, like, this is, like, this arrow, I created based on the actual, like, playfield insert arrows at the proper scale. And so I basically just put these in here, and then I'm kind of eyeballing it from there. But, yeah. So, yeah, I took a screenshot of the machine in Replay Mod, and then I've been overlaying and drawing on top of it to figure out, like, roughly where things could go or should go. Echoing Clock says, I genuinely believe we are getting closer to seeing some sort of larger general strike. Executive salaries have increased 30%, and laborers have seen no increase. Echoing Clock, I don't think you're wrong there. I don't know if it'll take the same shape as what we've seen with general strikes in the past, because America is weird about unionization and strikes in general. And also, there's a lot of weird stuff happening right now with technology, social media, trust, and surveillance. So I think we're reaching a point where something will happen, and it's going to be interesting. But I don't know. I'm not confident it will take the recognizable traditional shape of a general strike. I'm curious to see how things play out. But I think you're right. Things are definitely at a point where they're boiling over, and it's about to get weird. Now let's bring this one over here. So we're going to add a third light here in order to replace that arrow there. Nola says, anyone else tired of living in exciting times? Constantly. Yeah, since September 12th, basically. Okay, so if we look at the spacing here, we've got a little bit of a gap there that I think we might want to fill in by moving this up slightly. So, okay. What's the center one here? Okay. That's kind of far over, but I think it's gonna work. Future generations are gonna have some interesting history homework, says Nope Queen. If they teach this. I don't know if that'll be considered in the best interests of society. So... Mike Deadman says, I think there's such a wealth divide, it's even harder to win out over them. They have so much money and privilege they can afford to wait the strikers out. Yeah, so that's the thing, is because of the amassing of wealth, there's a lot of interesting problems that I think might need to be addressed by other means than purely a general strike. I really, in particular, okay. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I got the green shorts. Did I tell you? I went shopping and I got green shorts now. Yay! Okay, yeah, so I was gonna say, in particular, Gene Sharp has a trilogy of books called The Politics of Nonviolent Action, and, the book 2 is called, The Methods of Nonviolent Action, and basically, so, like, a general strike, let's see, there's a chapter on strikes in here, I think. Is that considered, okay, so chapter 3, Methods of Nonviolent Protest and Persuasion. Chapter 4, Methods of Social Non-Cooperation. Chapter 5, Methods of Economic Non-Cooperation. And that's, economic boycotts in particular. Chapter 6, Methods of Economic Non-Cooperation, the Strike. And so general strike is page 275 to 276. Chapter 7, Methods of Political Non-Cooperation. Chapter 8, Methods of Nonviolent Intervention. Okay, so basically, though, in the first, between pages... Between pages 117 and 347, there's 230 pages of methods of protest, like, broken down very, very specifically, and only 2 of those pages are about a general strike. There are a lot of ways that people can boil over in a non-violent way, and the fact that people are worried about a general strike is strongly indicative that something likely will happen or needs to happen soon, that we are approaching a crisis that cannot be resolved through inaction. However, I would really recommend folks look into some of what those alternatives might be and consider if they would be relevant to them and their communities. And once again, that is The Methods of Nonviolent Action by Gene Sharp. Let me see. I'm not... Okay. Small Time Benny says, we're going on close to a century of trying nonviolence, and as much as I'm a proponent of it, I don't know that society at large is there. Here's the thing: is we've tried largely nonviolent inaction. There are a lot of nonviolent actions that have not been attempted at scale. Ignoring it and saying it's fine is technically nonviolent, but it's not nonviolent action. It's nonviolent, like, pretending or ignoring. Right? So, yeah. No, we will not have anyone espousing violence in this chat. Small Time Benny says, I will not consider a lot of the black activism inaction. I completely agree with you on that. That's one of the, yeah, a lot of these books came out of the American Civil Rights Movement. But though I'm assuming you're talking about all the stuff that didn't work, or all the things that haven't been addressed yet. But, like, the way you were talking, it sounds like you're talking about our losses, not our wins. So I was addressing our losses and not our wins. Okay, so let's lay our heads down and dream here. Lauren says, we have a load of weird union busting and protest laws coming in, but the right to strike is still there for all unions. Well, and that's the thing is, even if they try to remove your right to strike, forcing you to work only goes so far if you don't want to work. Okay, why are live reactions still on? Let me fix that real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, the UK has a lot of laws coming in around that. That's not ideal. Small Time Betty says, I think the losses have been greater and the clock keeps getting set back. It'll result in a lot of frustration and people not willing to do the slow work again. I don't think people have... I don't know. I think a lot of the places where we're losing ground are places where nobody's really been strongly protesting. A lot of the surveillance stuff, a lot of the things that have been eroding have been just broadly ignored by society at large up to this point. I think a lot of the financial problems with predatory lending, with CEOs taking more than they need, that sort of thing. I don't think anybody's really... we haven't seen enough nonviolent action against that yet to declare it's a failure. Do I know 3-2? He made a mini game called Cluster Chunk that I played with some people. Let's see. Like, here, I played it with Etho back in 2013, but I haven't talked to him since. Why? Like, there's a difference between, like, vaguely acquainted with somebody a decade ago and I know them. Like, are you like, do you recognize the name? Because I had to Google, or not, well, technically YouTube search is Google search. I had to YouTube search his name. I'm like, that name sounds familiar. Did we do a collab about a decade ago? We did. I haven't talked to him since. So that's the thing, Small Time Benny, is I'm saying that these other threats that have been more under the radar and broadly ignored have not been attacked with nonviolent action because they've been under the radar. But now that all this stuff is coming to a head and things are starting to surface, we're going to see opportunities for people to organize and create good trouble in interesting ways that should not necessarily be limited to a general strike. Okay, I think I think we got the spacing on these lights okay. Okay. So another thing I'm kind of interested in is actually I kind of want to replace this arrow with green lights. BG says, asking because he made this neat map I'd like to archive, but I'm pretty sure it's lost to time. Download's been broken for many years now. He's the map creator. Yeah, I don't know which map you're talking about in particular. So it's unlikely I would have a copy of it. Yeah, I'm actually... Yeah, I have no emails from 3.2 with any attachments. So... Small Time Betty says, right, but they're coming to the surface at the same time the fascists are winning victories, setting the clock back on women's health voting, etc. No, that's why I'm saying that this is all coming... That's why, yeah, it's exactly that sort of thing. That's why I'm saying that now is why all of these factors are converging. I don't think we're in disagreement here about a lot of the fundamentals. No, I never played that level, BG Tech. Or if I did, I don't remember it. And I doubt I would have a copy anywhere. Sorry. Good luck on your historical trek. Okay, so having those three lights there is good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to replace that with... Well, BG Tech, that doesn't... I don't need to know that. That's irrelevant to me. You know, I understand that you're looking for something and you're asking about it, but I've already done more diligence than I really needed to. I checked my email to see if I had been emailed any maps by that creator, and I had not. That would probably be the only place that I would have anything like that. At this point, you can just, you know, let it go. You're barking up the wrong tree. Small Time Benny says, I think where I diverge from you is that just because some areas haven't seen nonviolent protest doesn't mean they will because of failures elsewhere. I mean, I think we're already seeing it start. It just hasn't, you know, what do you call it? Hit a critical mass yet. You know, like if you look at the Wall Street Journal, they're talking about, like, what do they call it? Quiet quitting or whatever. Okay, so that in particular is actually listed in this book as a type of nonviolent protest. I can see if I can find it here. I think it's a it's in the section for restricted strikes. Let me see if this is the right one. There's a lot of different types of restricted strikes. Yeah, it's basically a working to rule strike. The literal carrying out of orders in a way calculated to slow production and reduce the employer's profit margin. They remain at their jobs, meticulously reserving all the rules and regulations of the union, employer, and the contract concerning how the work should be done, safety regulations, and so on, with the result that only a fraction of the normal output is produced. Yeah. Quiet quitting, where you do exactly what your job requires and nothing else, would arguably be a it's kind of halfway between a slowdown strike and a working to rule strike. But yeah, like we're already starting to see that like major newspapers are reporting on these things starting to happen all over in different industries. Technologic. I did not realize that the author of Cultish had a podcast. I'll have to check that out. Hugs and Kisses writes, it was interesting to see last year when there were lots of strikes happening here, and the media was very against it, but in public opinion polls there was loads of support. Nope Queen writes, chaotic lawful or lawful chaotic, choose one of the two. Yeah, dang it, I'm too close to see if this light is centered. I need to figure out where the center line is for the string of lights to really make it work, but... Echoing Clock says, I've worked food commerce for over a decade and was part of a strike 4 years back. The vast majority of people in our community kept bringing strikers coffee and food the entire strike. That's good to hear. Well, so what I'm saying, small time Benny, yeah. So this stuff is starting to happen, and it's percolating into the news that it's happening at a somewhat worrying scale. A somewhat worrying scale is not the same as a critical mass, but it's promising to me. I think it's promising. So, the name of the podcast is It Sounds Like a Cult. Nice. Okay, so if we want to have this series of these, of lights, it should roughly follow here. So oops. That might be too close together. Let's just do a row of these. Slime is real fast to place and real fast to break. So and it looks like this is actually kind of naturally following the curve pretty well. So we might not have to get too creative with it. The last one maybe needs to be over a little bit further, but... Small Time Benny says, it's promising. Class consciousness and solidarity is always going to be a good thing. Whether the people in charge will acquiesce without violence in the long run is what worries me. You know, we'll have to see how it goes, but I'm gonna maintain what I hope is a healthy mix of optimism and realism. And dang it, I did not take the map out next to the lamps that we just placed, so I don't know where they are. Okay. So, looking at this here, oh, that's where it switches to the other map. let's fly back over with both maps. Okay, so this curve here is getting closer to this line. So this line actually needs to go more this way. It needs to come from this flipper up toward here. Now, let's see. There's two different machines that have spinners with series of lines like this. Paragon and Meteor. And this might help us if we look at how many of those dots or lights they have leading up to the spinner. It might help us understand something interesting. I would assume they probably had 7 because of the way memory works on computers. Back then it was very, you know, if you could have 7 lights and then it rolls over, that would be the way to do it. So that's my guess. I haven't actually counted this and I don't know. So let's see. Paragon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Okay, there are 5 lights. And if we go to IPDB for Meteor, are there 7 lights on Meteor? Or am I... That was just my guess. My guess might be wrong. Meteor has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Interesting. So, okay. Whereas over here we have how many? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Wait, do we? No, that can't be right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dang it. The armor is like covering it. 6, 7. Okay, so we have 7 lights. Which is what I was thinking if you had 7 and then it rolls over. Like, I do like the idea of this extending out here. But I think we will have to move these over. What did I do wrong with one of these? One of these is too far over, I think, actually. Or it's over too far too early. Yeah. That's what happened. So we will have to start moving them over that far later, but like maybe that's actually right here. And the part of the goal of these lights is to hint to the player where to shoot to hit the spinner. So it needs to align kind of from the flipper. If the flipper is down here, when it's resting, then you fly up the lights and you hit the spinner. That's good. It's a good shot. Hugs and Kisses says, loving the design you're working on here. The geometric stuff is really cool. Thank you. Oh, that one is either misaligned or screwed up somehow, so we'll fix that. We're almost out of rockets as well, so remind me. Actually, we fell down here anyway. Let's grab. Benny says, why is shipping from the EU so expensive? Because we're in the decline of a civilization and empire. Like, if you've ever played the game Small World, or read The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, or the Civilization novels, yeah, we're kind of there. Lauren says, the band I told you about missed out on #1 album chart by 140 sales. I'm so proud. It's amazing they got that close. It's a shame that they didn't quite pass that mark. But yeah, I'm glad that that they're doing well. Badger says, also greed from the courier companies. Yeah, that's part of the decline. What am I working on? I'm baking a pretty cake. I don't know if you know the way to bake a pretty cake, but if the way is hazy, never, ever use a mental recipe, because it'll end up crazy. You've got to do your cooking by the book. Okay, so here we go. I think this icing is going to look good here. We need to reinforce this piping over on this side with some fondant. Part of me wants to just move this one right here one more offset. I think we just want to offset that one more. Fallstar says, could the next book you read be The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire? I tried that a few years ago, and how far did I get? Oh my gosh. I feel like I got very far, but the problem is the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire is actually a lot bigger than you think, because I got it in digital, and so I didn't necessarily have like a whole set. Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon. Let me see how far I got. Okay. Oh, jeez. I got 10% of the way through. And it was a slog. I was genuinely being attentive and trying my best to understand everything and look at cross-referencing things. But it's... The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire is a serious work. Like, basically, I could not read it on stream. It would take me, yeah, let's see. There's one audiobook version of it that's about 125 hours. Fallstar says that the version they listen to is 150 hours. I couldn't do that. I'm gonna have to revisit it at some point, but it's a lot. Nola says I took a whole class on that and it was really hard. I remember feeling so stupid until a classmate said, is anybody else having a tough time with this reading? And everyone else said yes. Yeah. I am not going to read James Joyce on stream. Okay, I think I need to... I'm going to tweak this one over a bit, too. We're just kind of playing with it now. Kind of seeing what feels right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wow, we're 2 hours into the stream. It has really caught up with me. But I'm feeling good about the progress we're making on the pinball machine. I should mention, since we are at the 2-hour mark, that this is a viewer-supported stream. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. My next call did get moved up by an hour, so I do have to pay a little bit of attention to time so I can make sure to eat and digest and go over this budget stuff I have to prepare for that call in advance. I spent like 3 hours working on that stuff last night, but since I wrapped up at 1:30, I was like, I need to review this in the morning. And I looked at it, I'm like, Oh, I already found a several $100 error in the July and August revenues. And not in my favor. Woo! Yay! So, business, as they say. Okay. So, we've got... So, things we've done this stream. We've added this target up here. We moved the kinetic sling spinning disc over. We've added that arrow, modified these lights, added those lights and replaced that arrow. So I feel like we're in good shape in terms of like this feels like it's coming together. NJ says, "Don't worry if you're a few minutes late. I've got 1 hour slated for you." That's fine. I'm just worried that I think we're gonna use the whole hour, so I don't want to start late. I'm gonna make sure I'm ready. So yeah, I'll rerun those July and August numbers to correct them. Everything else that I posted for you last night to review should be accurate for the last since January 2020. Welcome, Chamomile. Glad you could join us. But yeah, it was just the last 2 months. I had skipped one step in the PayPal data processing. So, yeah. Okay. Hufflepuff says, "It's been a while since I caught your stream. Did you change your stream schedule? I don't see your evening streams anymore." Great question. We've actually got a new streaming calendar at joehills.net/soon. I do have an 8:30 p.m. stream tonight and one tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. So, Annalise says, "Is this like Minecraft?" Not really. I would say it's more like pinball. So, okay, you come up here, you hit this diverter, you bounce off. I almost kind of want one of those old-timey stop wheels here, but I feel like that's... I'm having a hard time thinking of any good way to do this that isn't going to make more problems for the orbit. So, yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is... Okay, if we want to angle the ball into the pop when it comes up there, I feel like we're going to need to have it come this way. Please stop spamming, Ethan. If I'm ignoring your comment, it's because it wasn't a constructive comment. Not because I want you to repeat it, because I didn't see it. I am paying attention to the chat. Where's the ball? Well, we have some of those over here. At this scale, the pinball is about 6 meters wide. We haven't loaded the balls into the machine yet, though, because we're still working on the playfield layout. There will also be a trapped ball in here. We marked the location up, but we haven't built the ball yet. Okay. So... Feeling pretty good about this on the whole. We still have to figure out where... Annalise says, "How do you get the balls in the machine?" I put them in my inventory and I rebuild them. They're just like, I don't know, a bunch of iron blocks. They're not expensive. Oh, one thing I wanted to try. Let's, just while we wait, let's do last call for tips. And then I'm going to try putting some rubber on the flippers just to see how that works. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/joehills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay, so I had an idea for putting the rubber on the flippers, and I think it might be a bad idea. But I don't know yet. Okay. So... Okay, I think we want dark oak logs here. Why am I still carrying these diamond blocks around with me? They are wasting a lot of space. Okay, and I got a bunch of ender pearls too. Let's dump those right now. Dump the bones. Okay, so dark oak planks. We're going to make some dark oak planks. Okay, yeah. This is a good idea. That's not going to be enough. Echoing Clock says, what would it cost to make a pinball machine IRL? I would need an actual workshop with real tools. So we're already looking at hundreds of dollars a month in additional rent or housing expenses. Materials would not be cheap either. Is the short version. Oh yeah, I forgot that this is only going to work, like, with the way the angles are. You can't do this on both sides. Grumble. I guess I could do something with item frames, but that wouldn't necessarily render in properly at the distance. But it would be very expensive. Like a pop bumper assembly. Let's see, if we go to pinballlife.com, like, not even talking about like the computer to power it and run the logic, but just let's say that we wanted a pop bumper assembly. Pop bumper assembly would be $50 a pop bumper. So $150 just in pop bumpers alone. Drop target array. So we've got multiple drop target arrays here. So if we had a 3-bank drop target array, those would be, yeah, $90 each. And we've got several of them. So that'd be like 180 plus another single drop target bank for the center, which is a special one, would be another 60. So that's what, 240 just for that. All of these rollover switches, all of the lights, it all costs money. It would be, I would say if I was trying to build a pinball, I couldn't even start trying to build this pinball machine without a real workshop and maybe thousands of dollars. Like, I would say probably 6,000 to 10,000 would be my estimate, and that might be low. That might be low. Okay, having the rubber on the flippers actually, I feel like looks good, because it adds a little shadow on the map there. Oops, missed my jump. Yeah, those flippers look way better with that extra high contrast. That was something I had been thinking about doing for weeks, but like I was like, that feels like a level of detail we don't want to do right away. But it works. I think it works really well. But yeah, like even the wood for the cabinet, the legs, like there's like buying an empty pinball cabinet would not be cheap. Trying to build one yourself would not be cheap. The whole thing would be very expensive. Yeah, a real pinball machine would be around $10,000. Some of them are a little bit cheaper, some of them are a little bit more. Now, one of the reasons that there's no ramps in this game is because it's easier to make your own homebrew pinball machine without three-dimensional elements like that. By keeping this limited to a single plane, it keeps a lot of the costs down. Chamomile says, assuming money wasn't an issue, would I try to build this IRL? Absolutely. I'm designing every part of this in such a way that I could build it in real life if I had the workshop, the tools, and the stuff. But yeah, that would be one of my long-term goals. Would be to actually have like a proper streaming studio with a workshop. So like, because like for the craft streams to be able to do like real woodworking or things like that would be just really kind of next level. But I think we're about 8 to 10 years out from that. Like that's a long-term goal for the business, not something I realistically feel like I could do now. But I think that's okay. You know, I'm building this kind of as a gift to my future self when Corinne goes off to college and, you know, I have some extra money. Then, you know, we could possibly build something like this. But, you know, not there. It's good to have some long-term aspirations to work toward, though, you know? It helps me stay focused on this project, thinking about what it would be like to build it later. It helps keep my imagination kind of grounded in reality and the physics of the materials and things like that. So this should look like a real pinball machine because it's designed to be a real pinball machine. Even if it never happens, you know. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, we got a tip rolling in. Let's see who it's from. It is 25 from Toxic Glitter, who says, I had a choice of 6 themes, and 3 of them were Wonder Woman. This one felt best. And then there is a caption that says gift image. I'm guessing the gift image is of Wonder Woman, but it doesn't render... My email doesn't render images in the email thing. But thank you very much, Toxic Glitter, though, for that. So that is going to get us... 14 gets us 1 face camera expansion, and then we are 11 past that goal, only 9 away from the next one. So here we go. It's time to expand, Joe. Do. Alrighty. So thank you very much, Toxic Glitter. Okay. Let's see. Bum 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 bum. T D D D T T T D D. Bum 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 bum. La dun 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 dun. Ba. Do 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 da 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 da. Do do do. Okay, I think what I want to do real quick is I want to try putting in some white glass to mark where the Chandra lights would go. And I'm not sure how that's gonna look yet. I think the Chandra lights also need to be these 4 type things. So let's say that those were like this. Is that... I'm not sure if white glass will show up, but I'm assuming it will because the gray glass shows up. And maybe I should have been doing all of these lights in glass, but I'm just trying to use my time efficiently, and gathering a bunch of dyes didn't really seem like a good use of that. But now we're kind of at a further step in the process. Okay, yeah. Those show up great. Fantastic. They might be a little bit too close to... But, like, for right now, that's fine. And of course, somebody's weed whacking outside. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Of course, we've got like one extra block of a bunch of random stuff. It's fine. Okay, so that looks good to me. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking this is great. This is feeling good. Oh, that's a cool project there, Toxic. That's that looks really neat. I would probably, if I got one of those, I would probably Toxic Litter just linked an image of like some sort of wooden craft pinball machine, like a one you would build yourself, like a $200 kit. So the thing is, Toxic says I've built other stuff from them, so I haven't built this kit yet and don't know how it plays. Their products are very well built. You know, if I bought this, I will say I would 100% end up trying to probably modify it to like actually like power it up with actual flippers and stuff. Because I'm assuming that because the flippers there look like they're just like on springs that you hand push. But you could maybe mount small coils inside of there or take out the bottom. Hey, Duskadair. Nola says, if I had a lot of money, I'd have a whole room for sewing. Lauren McBadger says, if I had a lot of money, we'd have a fully fledged workshop with a proper CNC. Yeah, I would not mind having like a milling machine, a lathe, a laser cutter. 3D printing seems cool, but that's not quite as interesting to me in some ways. I like the resin extrusion stuff. It's neat, but like for a lot of what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't have much of a use for it, but like a laser cutter, I could think of all sorts of cool merch. See, here's the thing, is I'd have a hard time feeling comfortable selling things that I 3D printed, I think, in terms of merch quality. But I've seen some stuff that Professor Shy Guy does with laser cutting into wood. I met him at PlayOnCon years ago, and he still comes every year. He's great. But he's got, let me see if I can find if his website. Please don't automatically play music. Does his website have merch? He's got a t-shirt section, but does he show? He's got some laser cut stuff that he's done. Yeah, let me post a link to this. This is not an advertisement for him. This is an explanation of the sort of thing that I would be interested. So, like, basically, if I had a laser cutter, I could make custom merch with, like, keychains and things like that. Magnets. I've actually got one of his magnets with the Kirby design that a friend bought for me as a trophy after our team won an event where our team name was the Kirby Superstars. So, yeah. There's some very cool stuff you can do with laser etching and laser cutting. Badger points out, I don't like 3D printing much because it's just more plastics. Yeah. ZB says some public libraries have 3D printers. I love the idea of there being maker spaces like that, but if I'm going to use it for streaming, I can't stream in a public space without feeling like a jerk. It's not good for the audience because the audio quality isn't there, and it's not good for the other people who want to be in that public space and have privacy. So, like, realistically, if I was going to build a pinball machine on stream, it would need to be in my own studio / workshop. You know what I mean? There's not a really... I could possibly go to somebody else's workshop to machine or cut or whatever, work on the parts, and then do the assembly at home. But it wouldn't be ideal. It would not be ideal. But like I said, that's why this is like a goal for 10 years out. So, I don't know. You need several 3D printers to make it really worth it as a business venture, I think. That's the thing is I don't want to get into the business of 3D printing plastic merch. Doing woodwork stuff is much more appealing to me. And Badger says you wouldn't be able to live stream the 3D printing that much because it takes so long still. Yeah, that's the other thing, though, is, like, that would be one of those things where, like, we could say, hey, we're going to start this 3D print, and then we're going to go work on something else in the workshop. And we might say, oh, let's cut back over to the 3D printer cam. Oh, it's made some progress, blah, blah, blah. But, like, yeah, it wouldn't be a 3D printing stream. One of the things I like about the laser etching is that doing the designs that would get laser etched would just basically be back to getting into doing a drawing stream. And I love drawing streams, and I don't really draw as much as I should because I'm always preoccupied. So, yeah. So, like, I feel like the laser cutter would be much more conducive to kind of my general artistic bent and workflow. Because I'm not really as much of a sculptor. I mean, I am building a sculpture of a pinball machine. But, yeah. Yeah. We're not there. So, Echoing Clock says, I would much rather have CNC woodwork or laser cut metal work over plastic printing work. Yeah, I don't think that plastics have a strong place in where I want to go with my business. Like, the car getting screwed up is really, like, that's really messing up my merch plans for the next little while. I'm trying not to whine too much about that. But one thing that I really wanted to look at was doing, like, wooden coasters. And, you know, if I can bring production of those in-house and, you know, stream, like, hey, here's me, you know, playing Civilization while swapping the wooden coasters out in the laser etch machine, you know? Like, I think wooden coasters that'll, like, it'll last you a decade or more. Like, they're nice, and you need them because you don't want to ruin your furniture or something. Like, that's the sort of thing that, like, I want to make things that people can see them every day, but also use them every day. Like, I understand why some people like plushes, but, like, they're just not for me. And on some level, as an artist, I want to make stuff that's for me. And I understand as a businessman, sometimes I'm going to also have to make things that are for other people or meet people in the middle. But, like, I feel like there should be at least some pieces of merch in the lineup where I'm like, if I wasn't me, I would buy this from me. And not just like, I'm making a bunch of stuff that other people want, but I don't understand why. Like, that, if I don't understand a lot of my business, I feel like that's disconcerting for me, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Nope Queen says, I'm feeling the car struggle. I'm having it too. Yeah, realistically, I'm going to have to... I don't think there's any way that I can justify buying a new car before Badger's immigration stuff gets settled. Once Badger gets here, we'll see... there's two things. Yeah, we got to sort Badger's immigration stuff. We're still... Like, we filed the paperwork, but it can take 14 months for a fiancé visa to get approved. So we're waiting on that. And then we have to figure out where Corinne's going to middle school based on the lottery system. And so, like, if she ends up at a middle school that has a really good walkable neighborhood, we might not need to replace the car right away. But if it's a neighborhood that we can't afford or something like that, then we might need to live further out and have the car again, which I don't. The longer I can go without replacing the car, the better I'll feel. But I can't know how long that is yet. So very frustrated about that. Okay, sorry, let's not end on a negative note. This is aspirational. We're talking about long-term stuff. 10 years out, making cool stuff in the workshop while streaming would just be a complete joy. So yeah, we've got this all set up. So things we did this stream. We've got the rubber on the flippers, which I think... Excuse me. I think that looks good. We're starting to get into allergies here. The rubber on the flippers, I think, came out well. We've got the lights on the Chandra shots. We've got the new arrow here. We've got the new lights there. We moved the spinning kinetic sling disc. And we added this target here, which makes sense from a geometrical standpoint, but I'm not sure exactly where it fits in the rules. Duskadair says, I am a big fan of functional merch. Silent Max says, hi and bye, can't stay. Don't worry, we're about to wrap up the stream. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. That was when I was planning on wrapping up the stream after we did Last Call for Tips a little while ago. Just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to get those in. Thank you again to Eklogs for increasing your Patreon pledge as well. That is also deeply appreciated. Thanks to everybody who hung out, helped me think through this process. This is a lot of fun, but it's more fun with y'all. Mike Deadman, Nope Queen, Chamomile, everybody I see in chat, Nola. I hope y'all have a fantastic day. If you haven't already watched my latest episode with XP Crafted, I'll go ahead and link that here. And hopefully I'll get this episode far enough along that we can have this out by next Tuesday or Wednesday. I still need to write a poem for Cub to wrap this episode up, but a lot of this episode is about this playfield. Even though we haven't been doing a lot of recorded segments on stream, we are making progress to get that in the bank. So once again, thanks everybody for hanging out. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. Do 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 do.